It's New Brew Thursday! Woo! It's the Homebrew episode again.
Homebrew again.
And we have a home brewer on the show with us. This is actually part of the team who actually won one of their beers is here. It's up to you to guess which one. Pause. Just kidding. So I think we're going to start off with your beer.
Okay.
And
so this is Mike, by the way.
Yes, I'm Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Mike.
Hello.
Mike.
Hello.
Me and Mike, we're just tight like that. We don't use names anymore.
I think it's appropriate to start with their beer.
Yeah.
Which
we probably should have, in all the times that we spent running around doing all this stuff, we probably should have gotten like a bottle opener.
That would have been ideal.
I've gone back and forth.
Only someone in the studio had a bottle opener and could throw it to us offset.
Oh!
Hey!
All right, so we're not going to waste any time here.
What the hell is that thing?
And it's fitting that it's coming from the other
It's
person.
a guitar.
It's a guitar.
I'm like, is that like a little monster? Or what is
The
it?
world's
little
smallest
monster.
guitar. Look,
Playing My Heart Cries Out for You.
I'm galloping on it. Look it up. All right. We're going to open this. This is a smoked
It's weird,
porter,
I was just about
right?
to ask him that.
Yes, it's a.
Yes,
smoked
this is
porter.
Stovepipe smoked
Yeah,
porter?
Stovepipe.
Okay.
Oh.
So tell us about your brewery, the name of your brewery.
We don't really have an official name locked down right now, but we go by Bottom of the Mug.
Bottom of the Mug Brewery.
Bottom of the mug. It's also a blog, isn't it?
Yeah, my
Yeah.
buddy Armen
Yeah.
kind of runs it.
That Armen dude, yeah, he's kind of weird. Show
don't like
around
him at all.
Yeah, he's not as cool as the guy who
Hopefully
just
he
threw us
doesn't
that
watch
bottle
this show.
opener. That's for sure.
He so wanted to be on the show. We're like, no, dude. Sorry, no. It's not
He
gonna
wears
happen.
funny hats.
Yeah.
Stuff.
So anyway, and so you guys brew as a team then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever brew on your own? You're just like, nah, I don't want to get
Well,
together
it's
with those
kinda-
guys. And
Going by yourself, it's kind of lonely.
yeah, it can be. So this is a very phenomenal beer, and as a disclaimer, we have tried all of these beers, because we did the judging. And I do want, before we start, I want to just take a moment to thank everyone who sent in a beer. And we did limit our winners each week, or each month, to 4 beers. So if your beer's not here, it's not necessarily a reflection on your beer. It's just that these beers stood out a little bit more than the others.
And you should kill yourself.
Nice.
No, that's me.
No, I'm just kidding.
Suicide never.
You know what?
answers
Yeah.
anything.
What happens now if we get that email? What happens? You're gonna feel like a big, huge dick bag, aren't you?
So
I'm
my
gonna feel like a
husband
big
just
dick
killed
bag.
himself.
Yes, you're gonna be the bag of dicks that Brad from Hopcast wants everybody to eat.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
That's sad.
All right. Well, cheers to homebrew.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to the stovepipes.
Thank you, Mike and Armen.
Yes, thank you guys.
Thank you.
And so, is it just the two of you, or do you have other guys? that
We
are
have other
involved?
guys that,
Okay.
It's like a homebrew kind of club
yeah,
thingy?
just,
or...
a group of friends.
Okay, cool.
Get a lot of smoke off the nose, which I really liked, because I have had a lot of beers that are smoked, and you smell them, and you're like,
Yeah, I don't get a
Okay.
lot, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I get a really good amount, like a balanced amount.
well, yeah. I mean, I don't mean a lot as in like, oh my god, it's so smoky. It's not
Oh,
like
I've had
the-
those kind of
yeah,
beers
It's not
where-
like the Iked, that what they call the bacon beer, the one that comes in the orange
I
bottle.
think you're saying
like
it's
never
aptly
say.
named.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
aptly
like
named.
the Mikeler bacon beer. The
Yeah,
rock,
the
how
rock,
do
the
you
rock,
say it?
like a rock beer. It's,
That
you
was
know.
just like, holy, I mean, that's hard to drink. I mean, that's some
Now
smoke.
this isn't a rock beer. This is a smoked porter.
Yes.
Okay. And so, briefly, if you can, tell me the difference between a rock beer and a smoked porter.
Well,
On the spot, go.
rock beer. I believe it's a German lager. They use beechwood smoke malts to give it that smoke flavor, and it's usually pretty strong on the smoke.
All right.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Look
the
for
more I
Mike in
know.
future episodes of New Brew Thursday when we want to actually impart real information
Yeah, there's
on the spot.
I did put a little bit of Rauch in it, so
Okay.
it's a
right
half
on.
Rauch, half peated smoke, so
Okay.
Excellent.
a little more.
It's very tasty.
It smells very good. I'll give it that.
And I think this is, it impresses me when homebrewers go outside the typical styles. And like a smoked beer, that kind of style, that's not as easy to do as an IPA. Like, I brewed a great IPA. Very proud of myself. And so should you be. However, brewing like homebrewers that brew lagers, homebrewers that do like smoked porters, I always get a little bit more googly-eyed. Because I'm like, oh, that's so cool that you know how to do that. I wish I knew how to do that. But this is very tasty. Good job.
And from what I heard, this was bottle conditioned with honey.
Yes, honey.
Correct? That's something else I learned.
And that's something you do with all your beers, right?
Yeah.
And what's the reasoning behind that? Is it like a cost thing, or?
No, I just find it gives it a more like unique edge to the finish, and its carbonation's a little finer, so.
It's something out of the normal corn sugar.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
Is that easier to make it more consistent per bottle? Harder?
It just, you boil it like a regular sugar and make sure it's mixed in the priming bucket.
Right.
It's just different, new spin on things.
I don't like that. I have just said you guys can't win now. Off the show with you.
Okay.
Just kidding. So now we're gonna move on. We gotta run through these kind of quick.
Just to dwell on this for another minute. It's very, very well balanced.
Oh yeah.
It's sweet. It's got the smoke. Like I said, the cool thing about this beer is it's got smoke on it. You can appreciate the smoke, but you're not being destroyed by this super smoky beer.
Right.
You can actually enjoy it.
The smoke kind of just lingers on the sides of the palate, and you get the sweetness that kind of comes through the middle and
the sweetness
balances it all out.
With a steak, dude.
Oh yeah.
Come on, a
totally.
barbecue
Like a
steak.
nice porter
Yeah.
cut.
It's great.
What I had on mine was when I first came up with this. It was for a 4th of July, so our family does roast chicken. So it's like I want to pair this with roast chicken. So that's what
Have you
I
ever
came
put
up.
a whole
Did you cook
chicken in
with
a
this?
beer?
No.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, it's in Papazian's book.
Yeah.
The cocktail.
Somebody sent me a vegan,
right.
like a vegan website that was like, oh, they put whole chickens in beer, so you shouldn't drink beer. You should drink vegan. And I'm like, really? Really?
What?
They don't
Do we
always-
need to spread FUD about commercial beers? So next we're moving on to Harmony.
No, I don't know if we should go.
Oh, we are. Well, you know what? We should because
Should we do the roller coaster?
yeah, well, because this will be a good cleanser before we go into this one.
Okay. So
So we're going into
expound on
Harmony. This is from Geoff. He is in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm not gonna lie, the fact that he screen printed his bottles,
That's a kick-ass
yeah,
bottle.
kind of had a factor in what Aside from the fact it's just a phenomenal beer. This is a porter that's cold pressed with coffee, and
We
it
kind of
has one bean of
Vanilla.
one Madagascar bean, vanilla bean in the secondary.
Just
so there's
one?
just one.
Yeah.
I mean, just one.
Capital O-N-E.
It's like, in
one.
Hunt for Red October. One ping, sir. One ping only.
Okay.
So I think what it did, in my opinion, from when we tried this before, is you get a lot of the coffee, and there's just this slight, subtle hint of vanilla on it. So I think it's this.
Oh man.
I think we
Cheers.
agreed when we drank this. Cheers,
guys.
Jeff.
Smells
Congratulations.
amazing. Smells amazing.
And I think when we all agreed that when we did all of the tasting that this was the one that stood out above almost all of them.
Yeah, this one blew me away.
Yeah.
This was, was like, oh wow, I want another bottle of this. I want to drink it now. I want to drink it.
It's
the
got a
rest of the
very
night.
it's got a very this is a great after dinner beer. It's got a nice chocolatey feel to it. It's almost like a little bit of a milkshake quality
it's
to
like
it.
Yeah,
it's
Oh,
like chocolate
yeah.
milk with-
It
it's like
definitely has that kind of a heavier body than the last
Yeah.
one. Like that last one is a smoky, rich beer that I could introduce to someone who maybe looks at dark beers and goes, no, I'm not a
Right.
dark beer person. It's like, have to try this one. It's smoky and has all that flavor, but it's not going to weigh you down. Whereas this, is
this
definitely like a
feels
more
like you're
dessert.
This you
Milk.
commit to, yeah. So this was I really, and again, this goes back to my previous statement about homebrewers doing things that are outside the norm. Cold pressing coffee and putting it into beer is not an easy process, and it's one that's very easy to mess up. And so if you're able to do that, that's impressive. It shows that you're outside the box, that you're doing more than just.
Well, at
standard.
the very least, you kind of know what you're doing.
Right.
You've done some research and.
Exactly.
You're just not saying, okay, I'm gonna get some Folgers and throw it in the.
Right, because I mean that's the
secondary.
first thing I thought of when I thought about like coffee beers was like, oh, they must just grind up some beans and throw them in the secondary and filter them out later. No, that's not how it works.
So you can't do that.
Honestly, if
The
you're
oils from the coffee ruin the head
Yeah.
retention. So
you actually have to brew the coffee
Yeah.
before it goes in, and you have to brew it cold or you lose all the flavor.
Yep.
So
interesting.
When you said milkshake, I didn't get that when we tried it the first time. As soon as you said it, it was like instant milkshake in my mouth.
Kind of
It's
reminds
just-
me of
wow.
an Ovaltine.
well,
Yeah,
as I've stated before on the show, my milkshake does bring all the boys to the yard,
it does.
Basically, if you can make
and
beer,
they're like, it's better than yours.
So yeah, this is one of my favorites so far, and it's so awesome that this early in the competition we got a beer this good.
Yeah,
I mean,
for real.
your beer was really good too. Like
But compared to this, it kind of sucked.
no,
This is an all different kind of beer.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
I'm just
it's
saying,
apples to oranges.
In general, for this being so early in the competition, we're getting some really good brews in,
Yeah.
which is very, very awesome.
Yeah, and based on some of the emails I've received, we're looking forward to some really, really, really phenomenal beers. People are kind of going all out, so that's awesome.
I think the main takeaway from this is if you have enough skill to brew with coffee, then you should definitely screen print your bottles.
Yeah, and apparently he did the screen printing because of the fact that he really, really loves Stone's bottles. It came from the.
Well, dude, it's also very easy. Like you get like what 50 bottles, maybe even 100 bottles screen printed, and you give a few away, but most of them you're going to recycle, and you always have a label on it. You just throw it in the dishwasher.
You know what I don't see much of is laser etched bottles. Have you guys seen a lot of those?
No. Singularity, I did.
I think they did that. Yeah, that's the only one I've seen.
They also fermented with sweet and low.
It wasn't sweet and low, but it was close.
So the next one.
Sorry, I had to toss that out. I had to go there. I think we should rinse before we do this next one. Though,
okay, we're gonna rinse.
We're gonna rinse.
So swipe.
So now we're moving on to Wrath Brewing, which
we have rinsed.
We've rinsed. Why did I do that?
Why'd you do that?
Let's explain. Let's explore that for a moment. No, it's not. So we're moving on to Wrath Brewing.
Can we get a psychologist in here?
And this is from Jason, known as Munchie on Twitter.
He was on
CHE. You've seen him before.
Yeah.
And he's local, and I think 3 out of the 4 that won are local. We did get a lot of local submissions because I think it's just easy. And that's with the limited amount of time for the first round. A lot of stuff came in from people that we knew and whatnot. So I'm going to pop this. This is a Nelson. It's called Craig T. Nelson.
Awesome name, by the way.
Very cool name.
And
it's made with Nelson hops. Obviously, Craig T. Nelson. Get it?
it wasn't properly bottled, so it was...
Brad was not properly poured.
It wasn't technically bottled. It came off of a keg.
It came off a keg, and
it still has a remarkable head.
Yeah.
Saturday?
Yeah.
And it's Thursday.
You thought this one was going to be the flat one?
Yeah.
It's actually
So
got
it
some
was
head
very
on it.
impressive.
It smells great.
Yeah, I love Nelson hops.
You know what?
Nelson hops are quickly becoming my favorite.
This is smelling a lot better than it did Saturday.
Yeah. This was the...
It's got some stank on it.
Yeah.
It's got good stank, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And this is one of the new trends with beer is the single mash or the single malt, single hopped beers, especially single hopped beers. I know BrewDog's got a collection of their single hop beers.
Yeah, the Punk is dead.
Punk is dead, yeah. And so I think the homebrewers are kind of getting into it.
I'm sorry,
I think
not Punk is dead. IPA is dead.
IPA is dead, yeah.
Punk is not dead. Punk is alive and well.
But I think it's a good idea for homebrewers to explore that because it gives you a way better sense of how a particular hop affects a beer, how the nose is, how the taste is, all that kind of stuff. And so, exploring different beers. And the brewer that actually does our next beer, he actually does a single malt, single hop beer.
Called Smash.
It's called Smash. If you can't figure out why it's named that, slap yourself in the face right now. Just do it.
SMASH.
Yeah.
Or S.
Single malt and single hopped.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is a fantastic beer. I really enjoyed this. It's one of the best IPAs that we received. And there's so much aroma.
I mean, I'm not too familiar with how, Nelson hops smell in a beer, singularly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Tying it together.
Well, there's that. Well, you should have done this beer side by side with the BrewDog's Nelson Sauvin.
That would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
Because
it's
you
like
could
brew your own beer with Nelson and see how it smells.
Perhaps.
Since you seem to have gotten into the home brewing thing.
What's wrong with that?
You remind me of an expert.
What?
Am I being douchey? Is that what you're saying?
No.
All right, thanks, Brad.
I
So
don't
this
know
smells
where that
great.
came from. Yes, I really
Everything
like
with
it.
the brain is unpredictable.
That's
I
right.
apologize.
So there's only one hop in this, but it has like citrus and earthiness and spiciness,
Yeah.
just all from one hop.
Yeah,
from
I
one
guess
hop.
so.
That's a crazy hop.
And I love the name, Craig T. Nelson.
Nelson,
Yeah.
Did
Fantastic
you guys get
actor.
grapefruit off that, or is that just me?
I
Is
got
that just
grapefruit.
citrusy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's citrusy, but grapefruit's its own kind of citrusy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little drier, little
definitely.
up there.
Part of the contest, too, is coming up with a good name. And if anyone's good at naming their beers, it's Jason.
Yeah, he has the Imperial.
If he doesn't succeed as a brewer, he's going to succeed as a beer namer.
beer namer.
A marketer.
Do they have that job? Because I might go on for that job. So.
Yeah.
Although I'm not very creative with that, I'd be like,
whoever
call it
came up
IPA.
with Velvet.
Oh, is that already been taken?
Whoever came up with Velvet Merkin should win the gold for that category of the brewing
But it
process.
torally makes sense though.
Yeah, it's smooth and oatmeal, and now we're diverging.
And tasty.
You know they brought Velvet Merkin back, right?
Orgasmic.
All right, moving on.
They did? They brought the name back?
Mm-hmm.
Velvet Merkin?
What about
That was
Velvet Merkin.
Marlin.
Well,
Merlin.
they have Velvet Merlin.
Merlin.
Is the bottled version. If you get the barrel-aged version of Velvet
it's
Merlin,
Merkin.
it's Velvet Merkin.
That's cool.
So I was very happy with
So it's
Firestone
kind of
Walker,
a
'cause I was very
way-
disappointed that
yeah,
they changed the
that's
name.
cool.
He learned that at the barrel
about
party
golden showers?
for
Did they bring
Firestone
that back?
Walker, so. All right.
No, thanks to the government. Government's always keeping us down.
I don't think we need to rinse on this one.
People
No,
don't even
no,
know what a
it's-
Merkin is.
It's a...
Do you know what a Merkin is?
I know what a
Oh, you
Merkin
do?
is,
Okay.
but I mean the
A
general
Merkin
public-
is a wig
I
that a
actually
female
want to hear
puts on her
Mike, you
pubic
have a
area.
gift for gab and explaining things in a comedic way. So what is a merkin?
Well, it's usually it's worn by women of the night, as it
Women
were.
of the night.
In the
Roxanne,
in the
perhaps?
olden days, as a decorative cover for the downstairs. A pubic wig,
Yeah.
if you want to get
You see, I don't
really
get that.
technical.
I
prefer-
called it a toupee.
It's okay.
But that
Well,
makes
Are
more
we really
sense.
going to get
as
into our
a-
preferences of vaginal areas on the show?
Just saying.
Hey, we go wherever the beer takes us, man.
I mean,
We don't make the road, we just follow the road.
There you go.
We just ride the wind.
So the next beer and the final beer
Is Catherine's lubrication.
it's called Catherine's Lubrication.
Speaking of vaginas, and this is a
now.
Russian Imperial Stout.
Yeah.
And Catherine the Great was a famous Russian czar, princess, whatever they call them over there. And so this is Catherine's lubrication.
Russian
And-
Imperial Stouts were, beers that were for the upper class.
Yeah.
For the most part, I guess.
Cheers.
From what I've heard.
Cheers to lubrication.
cheers.
Yeah, and Catherine.
And this is from Three Frenches Brewing, who you might know on Twitter as Three Frenches. And Robert is the one that did the single malt, single hop beer that we talked about earlier, and is probably one of the best homebrewers that I've had the pleasure of brewing beer with.
Yeah. He's a fun guy, knowledgeable. Been
Yeah.
brewing for a long time.
And he's not pretentious about it. He just wants to have a good time, and it's a lot of fun brewing with him.
Ooh, that is good. Definitely doesn't have the same kind of one vanilla bean.
Right. This I think is somewhere in between these two.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of body, but it's not sticky or sweet, like overly sweet.
It's
Yeah.
got more roastiness than
Right.
the coffee one is all
Totally.
pretty much coffee, but this is you get some more roast out of it.
Here, here.
It's sweeter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The nose,
I feel it has a little bit of acid on the nose, kind of
like
like a low.
fusely.
No, like a low end soured beer. Just a little bit.
You already won, dude. You're not gonna talk down the other beers.
I'm not saying. No, I'm just saying it's unique. I like it. It's not off. It's just kind of there,
Right. I think it's got.
I could see that.
I'm moving your stuff around. Hello.
I'm not saying that's what it is, but it reminds me of that.
Yes. Sorry. I have touched the magic mouse.
Technical difficulties here.
Sorry.
Steve's playing with the mouse, and now I'm trying to.
It's as if
Find
you work
it.
on a computer.
Where
It's,
am I?
oh, there it is. Hey, there we are.
Hey!
Hey!
That's all gonna cut.
If you have a Canon T2i, you know. Well, you don't know,
Yes.
but
Anyway,
you
I have
so
no clue what's going on.
Robert, he's a great brewer. It's not like we didn't just pick this beer because Robert made it. It's a fantastic beer.
yeah,
He's been brewing
a while.
15 years.
Yeah.
He just recently got into all grain, and he's doing a great job with it. I mean, the guy knows how to make some beer.
He's actually brewed a beer for the single malt, single hop brew was actually brewed for bootleggers.
Well, yeah, they had it.
They had it
He
on.
brewed it at their pilot system at
Right.
Bootleggers, and they had it on. It might still be on, but it was that the Smash was a really good beer too. It was very tasty.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
phenomenal brewers. We got a lot of really good submissions. Thank you guys so much for sending them in. Again, just because your beer's not sitting here doesn't speak ill against your beer. It's just, there's a lot of really tough competition going on. So the next deadline is May 15th. Be sure to submit your beers by then. Stop procrastinating.
Final deadline June 1st. You still have plenty of time. Brew a beer, tomorrow.
And be arrogant.
Do something.
Be arrogant. If you're planning to win this
Humble.
thing,
Be
don't
humble.
wait for us to contact you to say, hey, you won, and then start thinking about what you're going to brew. Be thinking
Right.
about what you're going to brew right now for the organic one. Spend some time on that because that's going to be the tough one because, our judging system is like, oh, this is a cool bottle. Win! It wasn't quite like that.
Come on now.
But, I mean, we're not judging the final category. Dr. Bill and Daniel from Bison Brewing are judging the final category, so the judging is going to be a lot more intense. So be sure that you're giving yourself a lot of time to think about what you want to do and all that kind of stuff. So don't wait to find out that you won. And if you don't win, then brew an organic beer anyway, because that's freaking rad.
Yeah.
Go environment. I believe that there is pizza in the house. I can smell it. I sense its presence, its disturbance in the force, if you will. So
we're gonna go pair.
Yes,
do some
we're
master
going to.
pairings.
We're gonna master pair pizza with more pizza in my mouth.
Indeed.
My mouth and the
we're
pizza
gonna be like
is the
baby
master
birds.
pairing.
He's gonna regurgitate, and we're like, "That's a delicious pairing."
That's disgusting. That makes me want to vomit.
More pizza for me.
That's a bad way to end the show.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So
Well, you're the one who said there's master pairings going on in my mouth. It's like, what? What the fuck is that?
That's excellent.
We're gonna say this.
I hope all this stays in the show.
This is the part of the show that's always a little weird. Just a little bit.
We're not drunk. We're soberly challenged.
This is when the alcohol kicks in.
No, we want to say again, thank you very much to everybody that submitted. We're looking forward to trying the next beers for May 15th.
Thank you.
He's asked you not to touch him.
I touched them. I went there. There was a line and I crossed it.
So May 15th.
And now you have Poison Oak.
And look forward, nice. Look forward to the end of May for the next Homebrew episode. And until then, stay safe and